What about you?
I'm still single.
Still single.
I'm still single, but loving it on the streets.
You're loving it?
Yeah.
On the streets?
I've been single since January, like mid to end of January, and yeah, it's been good. I've never like been single for long stretches of time. This is the longest period of time I've ever been single in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I'm a lover girl. I let guys just lock me down.
Wait, you're a what girl?
I'm a lover girl.
You're a lover girl.
I can't say that.
How long was your longest relationship?
7 years.
Wow. How old are you again?
I'm 24.
24, okay.
So you're a lover girl, and so...
Not anymore, though.
Are there any guys
in
in the
like
picture?
There's like some guys that I'm, kind of going on dates. I'm not trying to be in a relationship with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like going on, dates here and there. I've definitely been like hooking up with people, but I'm making it very clear, like, I just want to have fun. I don't want to be locked down.
Does lover girl kind of mean like promiscuous? Is that what you mean?
I guess I meant it in like, that I'm like sappy and I get kind of like pulled into like
a romantic.
Yeah, I get kind of romantic, and I'm not being like that so much anymore.
You said that there's a couple guys in the picture?
There are, although
so you got a roster.
I'm trying to build a roster, and it's like I'm building it. This is my plan, but it's kind of difficult because I'm very busy, and I only hook up with other guys in the porn industry. Part of that is like the testing bubble and all that I worry about. So they're busy and I'm busy, and then it's kind of hard to maintain this roster that I'm building.
And so the roster does the roster consist of only guys in the industry?
Yeah.
And how many? So what's the roster looking like currently? 2-3 guys?
Oh, it's sad. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3.
It's sad because there's too few.
Yeah, I feel like it should be like Pokemon, like gotta catch them all.
You want like 10?
Yeah.
It's guys that you're interested in, or guys that you're like actively sleeping with?
Into the mic. You can scoot into the table. You can scoot into the table too.
It's guys that I like spending time with. I like sleeping with them. I'm not interested in pursuing a relationship right now. I've just like I said, I've kind of been locked down like my whole life, definitely my whole adult life, and that was like, I just wanted to experience being single and being free, and I had some bad relationships. I made really bad choices about the men like that I got into relationships with, so I'm just kind of like...
if you don't mind me following up, when you say that you've been locked down most of your adult life, how old are you?
24.
So your adult life has been 5 years? 6 years?
Yeah, wait. Yeah, 6 years.
So, I mean... It's not really... How many different lockdowns did you have in that 6-year period?
I had 2 long-term relationships.
Were they both about 3 years
Well, I had
each?
one like that. I met a guy in high school, and we were together through high school, and then through till I was like 21, and then or 22, and then I was in a relationship for 2 years with another guy.
Were you in the porn industry while you were in a relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And did he mind, or?
No, honestly, like that's not why we broke up. It was like others. Well, kind of from my perspective, because he saw how much money I was making in porn and was like, well, I don't want to work. And that started to bother me. Yeah.
Wait, that
financially?
bothered you?
A little bit, just like, there were a lot of other things going on in that relationship, and we were just like, we were spending less and less time together.
Can I ask you a question on that? If you were dating a billionaire and your earning potential was like $40,000 a year, wouldn't it be like make sense for like you to not work a 9 to 5 while dating a billionaire, and like for him it's like a penny basically?
I think that might make sense, but I think he or whoever I was dating, and this was sort of what happened, was he might get bored if I'm just don't have an ambition. And what happened was like you can definitely like do other things besides work and be an ambitious and interesting person. Mm-hmm. Or you can decide, I'm not going to work. I'm going to play video games all day. I'm not going to be an interesting or ambitious person.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that was kind of what happened.
I don't understand though. If let's just say that this guy should probably get additional points right away because by your own admission, you're a prostitute, right?
No.
So,
no, hold on.
Well, if you're a porn star, it's prostitution.
There's a difference.
There is a difference.
What's the difference?
One is being filmed.
Yeah, when it's being filmed, it's
okay.
like what I do is entertainment
So the difference
industry.
between prostitution and pornography is that other people can jerk off to it?
I think though that because I'm in the
Is
mainstream.
that, no, I want to be clear. I want this question answered. What is the difference between prostitution and pornography? I'm actually not clear on this point.
Prostitution is a lot less regulated, I would say. It's a lot less like when I walk into like a professional porn studio set, it's very like
There's prostitutes who are regulated. If you go to Nevada,
Okay.
there's all sorts of regulations which they impose on their prostitutes. That includes testing. That includes all sorts of different things. They have professional brothels. They're still prostitutes.
right.
Why would you make the distinguishment between prostitution and pornography? It's prostitution.
I think for the sake of the argument you're about to make, so I'll let you get there. Like, you're right. I'll let you have that point and let you make the rest of your case. Although I will say, like, industry-wise, like, it's just like it's two different kind of experiences. I won't say like, oh, one's better than the other, and one's safer or cleaner, or like just in the sake of this argument, like, fine. If you want to say like, I fuck for money, therefore I'm a prostitute,
Well, what else would you be?
A porn star.
a porn star.
Well, okay, but this is it's a non-semantic distinction. So if you say people who have sexual intercourse for money are prostitutes, and you're having sexual intercourse for money, this would make you a what?
That would make me a prostitute.
That would make you a prostitute. So unless you can give me a semantic distinction, something which actually creates a delineation, obviously prostitutes can have sex on camera as well, as not on camera, they would still be prostitutes. What would the actual distinction between the two be?
I wouldn't say that I'm a prostitute or I'm an escort because I'm not, and I don't want to like I don't know, like I don't want to take away from girls who do. It's
What are
kind of
you-
like the
what are you
distinction
taking
between
away
like,
from 'em?
well, it's the
Are you-
distinction
is-
between
hang on,
porn
is
and
it
concentration.
prostitution
Like,
stolen
yeah.
valor? Is that what's going on?
All right, so
Stolen valor.
Is it prostitution stolen valor? Like, I don't want to take away from the valor of the prostitutes as I engage in the same exact type of sexual act. I don't get it. Like, what can you make an actual distinction between the two for me?
it's not the same exact thing. When I walk onto a set, I have like, there's a script, there's a call sheet, there's a specific
Like the way
studio
it's
or
managed.
company. It's managed very differently than like walking into a date with like
Well, I
an
mean,
escorting client.
couldn't a guy hire a prostitute and then have a script for her to read when she came in because, you know, it made him happy? I don't understand what is the actual semantic distinction. It seems like
the talents
you're
that
a prostitute who gets paid to have sex on camera, or you're a prostitute who does not get paid to have sex on camera. If you can actually give me a delineation that makes sense, I'm willing to accept it.
So the person I'm having sex with on camera is not the person who's paying me, and they're also being paid to have sex on camera.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not
So
defending
wait,
or not.
hang on. So I could also hire two prostitutes to have sex and pay them both, even though I don't have sex with either of them, correct?
Yeah, and then you're creating an amateur porno, I guess, if you want to film it and put it somewhere.
Well, no, I mean, I could hire two prostitutes. They could
Okay.
have sex with each other, and I could never have sex with either of them. They would definitely be engaged in prostitution, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so I still need a distinction from you, because everything you say, it sounds like the prostitute does the same
But
exact thing.
It's the combination of things. Like I said, like it is that I'm being paid to have sex and the person who's having sex with me is being paid. There's a company that's like funding it, like a big
So there's
studio.
two prostitutes being paid?
Let me ask
Okay.
you, would you say that you consider it more of entertainment because it is filmed and as opposed to prostitution? I'm
It's
just
adult
asking.
entertainment. I think though, like prostitution is also like entertaining to the
Yeah,
person being
right, exactly,
entertained.
exactly.
So
That's
what
what I mean.
was the point you were going with this? Because I
Well,
feel
my,
like you
my
were
point
going
is
somewhere else.
that I guess to bring it back around, if you can't give me an actual distinction between what would actually be a delineation between prostitution and being a porn star, because they're both just prostitution as far as I'm aware. Again, willing to be corrected, but the point I was making was that shouldn't this guy kind of get additional bonus points for the fact that he's with a prostitute willingly? If she's making a ton of cash and he's with her willingly, like isn't that kind of bonus points for him, like from your perspective?
Well, if he's just using her, it's kind of like he would be almost acting as like a pimp in that way, where he's.
Yeah, like that's not how I want my personal relationships
How's he?
to function.
What? How would he be a pimp?
Because he's letting her make money. If we're going with the prostitution angle, he's just like laying back doing nothing and letting her make money for him as well for the prostitution or the porn, if that makes sense.
Okay, but I let me test this for you, or test the logic here, and you can tell me where I get this wrong. Let's assume for a second you're engaged in prostitution, and then you meet a guy, and you end up with this guy, and you continue to be engaged in prostitution. How in the world would he be the pimp? You were already a prostitute. Like now he's with you, and you're still doing the same thing you were doing before. How would that be on him?
Because he's collecting the money.
Yeah, we have this term in the industry. It's kind of a jokey term, but we call them a suitcase pimp. You know, a guy who usually lives off the income of their girlfriend or their wife, and they just kind of don't contribute in other ways. I mean, yeah, we kind of call that a suitcase pimp. It's not a full-on pimp, but it is creating a situation where.
Hang on, I want to make sure I get this right. Inside of the industry where you're definitely not a prostitute, boyfriends who take the money from the girls are called pimps. But definitely not prostitution in any way, shape, or form, right?
I think you're confusing prostitution with sex work, in which case, like, you are correct. Sex work is like this blanket term where, like, you engage in sexual activity for money.
Well, you call boyfriends of these porn stars pimps. Pimps are associated with what? What are they associated with?
Sex work?
Prostitutes. What do you mean sex work? They're associated with prostitutes.
We live in a new age where there's so many different.
Hey, there's a hooker in the back. If you want her, they don't go, here, I got a sex worker for you.
The point is, because you were asking about the guy and like why she didn't want to be with him. I just said pimp because going along with the prostitute scenario, I guess. She didn't want to be with the guy because he had no ambition of his own, and he just wanted her to basically go out and
be the breadwinner.
Film porn, and live off of her income, and have no.
Yeah, but I don't understand if he is willing to look past that, right? If he's willing to look past the prostitution.
What if he was just using her?
To Brian's point, well, then this could operate the exact opposite way too, right? You would say that women then who are with men who make a lot of money are just using them.
Sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you would say at least it's a case by case, though, right?
Yes,
yeah, and I'm saying in my case, yeah, like that guy got boring and kind of mean and very ambitionless, and no amount of other so-called bonus points would make up for that. It's just not what I wanted in my life. It just wasn't working.
Yeah, right. But I guess my point is do you give extra points to somebody because they're willing to be with a prostitute?
No, because
No?
if somebody is willing to be with me, then they already have like those points. You know what I mean? Like anybody I would date, anybody who I interact with in my personal life, like they are okay with that, or I never interact with them. So like to me, that's kind of just like a given. That like it's not like, oh, this boyfriend's better than that boyfriend because that boyfriend was like okay with me doing my job. It's like I really only date guys who are okay with me doing my job.
Would you prefer a man who told you that he didn't want you to engage in prostitution anymore?
No, absolutely not. That's why I love being single. Nobody's telling me what to do.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then he could never be a pimp if he's with you, in spite of the fact that you're a prostitute, because you wouldn't want him to tell you not to be anyway, right?
I don't think it mattered what my job is. I think it was just that I was working a ton and making a lot of money, and he just fell off because of that.
Andrew, I do need to move it on. Do you have a final? Do you have a final?
No,
Okay.
We're good.
You had something? Go ahead.
Oh no, I already.
You good? Okay. Really quick, just to wrap up on the relationship status. You said you currently have 3 people on your roster,
Yeah.
and these are all people who work in the industry. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. What's the most you've ever had on a roster?
3. This is my first time being single. It's my first time doing the roster thing, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're like seeing each of these guys once a week, twice a week?
I wish. Like once a month, twice a month.
Okay.
And that's just scheduling and kind of just me. Like sometimes I'll make plans to hang out and then I I'm too tired.
Okay.